Hey guys, Buffering Game Back today bringing you a video, and today we're going to be discussing Ghost Recon Frontline and its recent cancellation. So last week on an investor call, Ubisoft announced several delays as well as two cancellations, that being the Splinter Cell VR game as well as Ghost Recon Frontline. Now, Ghost Recon Frontline was a game that was announced last October, as well as another game, Tom Clancy X Defiant, which was announced around the same time, I want to say within a few months of each other. Both were met with heavy criticism. The Tom Clancy X Defiant eventually dropped the Tom Clancy name and is now just titled X Defiant. That game is moving forward with its release sometime in the near future. However, now we're seeing that Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Frontline, which was supposed to be a first-person shooter game, which is a battle royale, 100-plus players, it was supposed to be a free-to-play game, which is going to be a live service title from Ubisoft. Again, this was announced last October and was just recently canceled last week. Seemingly in an investor call, it was announced that this was part of recent cancellations. The reason being for cost-cutting purposes, as well as to focus on their more lucrative and main stake titles, that being hopefully things like traditional Ghost Recon games. So very odd that this game was announced. This was apparently, in the trailers you see in the background, there was interviews with the Ubisoft developers saying this is a game they've been working on for 3 years at the time of last October when this was announced. And again, it was supposed to go into closed beta. The game was met with heavy criticism from the community because mainly it does have the name Tom Clancy Ghost Recon, and it was nothing of the sort, especially with that fan base wanting more traditional Tom Clancy actual Ghost Recon games. And this is a game that had been in development for 3+ years, so rightly so the fan base for that franchise was obviously upset, especially with X Defiant, which is just a really goofy looking game in my opinion. Again, originally had the Tom Clancy title in front of it, recently dropped that, and that one seems to be moving ahead with its release. However, both just very odd games to be coming from Ubisoft. We haven't seen a more traditional Ghost Recon game like they used to be back in the day in a very long time. They've kind of been going downhill the past 10+ years. So obviously the fan base very upset. Now, the fact that this was canceled is good for the Tom Clancy Ghost Recon fan base, because hopefully this means they will focus on going back to the roots with those good older Ghost Recon titles. However, in the grand scheme of things, this is actually kind of a bad thing, because this looked like the gameplay, as well as there was some closed alpha gameplay event that went on over on Twitch, and maybe it was some sort of beta event that went on. The game, especially in the trailer itself, the gameplay that we do see, the game looks actually exactly kind of what I would want from a BR. Now, it looks like a more grounded BR, more slower pace, more tactical, less arcadey than something like Warzone, and it's definitely a game that I would want to play. Now, if this were announced as just Frontline from Ubisoft, that's it, just Frontline, no Tom Clancy, no Ghost Recon, I think this would have been met with probably much less criticism at the least. Or even if this were announced from another studio other than Ubisoft and it was just, again, Frontline, I think it would have been met with pretty positive reactions for the most part. This is a pretty good looking battle royale. Again, very real life weapons, taking them from the more recent Ghost Recon games such as Wildlands and Breakpoint. However, those obviously are kind of not what the community wanted anyways with those games. But the weapons and the gear, everything like that is more grounded in reality than something like Warzone. So if you're looking from a battle royale perspective, just a general first-person fan base, which would be myself, modern first-person tactical shooters, more grounded in reality type games. I've never really played the old school Ghost Recon games, but I can obviously appreciate that fan base being so passionate myself, really disliking where Battlefield has gone over the past probably 8 years or so. So obviously we can relate to that, and if Battlefield did something stupid like this, Battlefield 2042, I would also be very upset. So I think that's obviously, this was the right thing to cancel this. It never should have been announced as a Tom Clancy Ghost Recon game. However, from a battle royale perspective, this looked like a good game. Now, who knows what the gameplay would have actually looked like. I remember watching whatever they were doing on Twitch for the gameplay betas or closed alphas or something, and I remember it just looked really choppy, didn't look good. So it was odd to me that this had been in development for 3+ years. Now, like I said, if this was just a game called Frontline and that's it, and it were developed by Ubisoft or even another development studio, I think it would have been met with better reviews. It looked like a good, modern, first-person, tactical type battle royale experience, which is really what I originally wanted from Warzone. Kind of reminded me of what Warzone used to be in its original first 2 to maybe even 3 months, a more grounded game, and it wasn't as arcadey. So this looked like a less arcadey version of Warzone, in my opinion. It looked like it could have definitely had a lot of potential with some of the features that we're seeing here. A lot of the features we see in the trailer are things that I think we're going to be seeing in Warzone 2, like interrogations, things like that, to take prisoners from many enemy teams, reveal where other enemies are on that team. A lot of things here I think we're going to be seeing in Warzone 2. So they were doing the right things from a battle royale perspective. However, obviously, wrong studio, wrong title to be making this game. So it's kind of a shame this got delayed or canceled completely, supposedly. Part of me hopes we see this come back up somewhere down the line as just Frontline. It looked like from the gameplay that we had seen over on Twitch that it did need a lot of work, maybe graphically as well as just with the gameplay mechanics to run a little smoother. However, Twitch obviously never really looks great to begin with when you're looking at gameplay, because I think it is only up to 720p. You don't get 1080p, you don't get high def video really over there, so things never look as good as they typically would be, like here on YouTube. So definitely a good thing from a Ghost Recon, Tom Clancy fanbase perspective. Hopefully this means that those development studios at Ubisoft will actually go back to their roots and develop games that the fanbase have been asking for years. But again, I have to say I'm kind of disappointed. This is a game I was actually looking forward to definitely jump in and try out and play. I was, again, had some high hopes for this game if they were actually able to deliver. But if they had a game that was going to be a good battle royale and they were confident in it, they wouldn't have canceled it. They would have done exactly what they did with X Defiant and dropped the Tom Clancy, dropped the Ghost Recon title from it, and just call it Frontline and release it that way. So obviously it seems like there was a lot more going on here than just negative fan reactions. It seems like they were in a tough spot with a lot of issues, most likely with development, having a good product that would run smoothly with 100 plus players, and gameplay mechanics, things like that. There definitely had to be more issues than just, okay, we have the wrong title here and the fan base is really upset. If they had a good game they were actually confident in, they would have dropped those titles, released this as a free-to-play battle royale, kind of on the spot. Something like Apex just came out of nowhere. They would have done the same thing with this. So definitely unfortunate for the gameplay you see in the trailers. Like I said, it looked like a really fun experience that I would have definitely liked to get in and play with you guys in the community. Had a good time. But obviously there's more going on in the background than we know of with the game. So definitely a bit of a shame here. I was looking forward to this for sure. Let me know down below what you guys think of the Frontline cancellation. Do you think what doomed this game was the negative reaction because of the Tom Clancy Ghost Recon title for this? Do you think if it was just originally announced as Frontline and it was done by maybe a separate studio under Ubisoft or something like that, that it would have had better reaction? I really want to know what you guys think about this, because from, like I said, my perspective, this is kind of like the perfect type of battle royale game that I would have liked to play. We see a lot of modern weapons in this trailer, modern gear, modern looks for the soldiers. It's not super arcadey. I think if they obviously did it as just Frontline, they would have needed to remove a lot of the Tom Clancy, like a lot of the Ghost. They have a lot of different character outfits that they're using from previous games. They would have needed to get rid of a lot of that stuff and just have it be a standalone title. So kind of a shame that they've been going on this trend the past couple years here with everything that comes out of Ubisoft is Tom Clancy, Ghost Recon, like X Defiant, just this ridiculous looking game that looks just, in my opinion, really stupid, and I would never play it. But it's just crazy that they're throwing these Tom Clancy Ghost Recon titles on everything. If you're going to make something different outside of what is Ghost Recon, just make a standalone title. And I think that's where they definitely made a mistake here. And then I think obviously the reactions, and then they took a step back and said, hey, this game isn't even where we want it to be, and the financial cost to make it to what we eventually want it to release is too great, and the reaction is, the damage is already done from a PR perspective. So the sales, or the in-game sales, because it would be a live service free to play, wouldn't be what they wanted. So I think the negatives far outweighed the pros with this one. Let me know what you guys think down below. Ghost Recon, Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Frontline, canceled officially. Maybe we'll see this re-release in a few years here as just Frontline or something different. Get rid of all those Tom Clancy assets. Just make a standalone game. Would be interesting to see. Or maybe they can sell the rights to a different development studio somewhere who can kind of take this thing and run with it or something like that. Unfortunately, now they definitely missed their window because we have Warzone 2 coming. For whatever reason, Warzone has left so much room for a better Battle Royale experience to come out, and nobody has been able to take advantage and capitalize off of all the issues Warzone has had. So it's a shame. There's the formula for the right BR is there, and no one seems to be able to take advantage of it. This was definitely a game I was hoping would have been able to be that BR that I want to play. However, I guess we'll never get to find out. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Till next time, this is Buffett Gaming, out.